The most important thing for Black Americans to be aware of right now is that we are winning. We are not losing. We are winning. In the big scheme of things, we're definitely winning. It's very easy to miss and easy to forget because of all the noise that's going on right now and the place that our politics are in, and the collapse of our mainstream media outlets, and the dispiriting results of elections and all that stuff. And it's all legit to be concerned and upset about those things, but we cannot lose track of the fact that those who are standing in opposition to our inclusion at the highest levels of the economy, on every level, in every industry, in every walk of life, those that don't want to see us there are freaking out because we're there and we're succeeding. Evidence abounds that wherever Black people are and we have a level playing field on which to compete, we don't just hold our own, we hold ours and theirs too. Anybody else who steps in there against us, I don't care what field it is. Okay, Tiger Woods showed us that in golf, which was unbelievable. When I was coming up, that there would be the most dominant golfer on the planet would be a Black man. Whatever you may think of his politics, set that aside. The reality is he has lived life, in a body that identifies him as Black. So he carried burdens that came along with that and became the very best golfer that anybody's ever seen, and one of the greatest of all time, undeniably. Why? Because those holes are the same for everybody. If you can qualify yourself to get there, if you can drop those balls in that hole, you win. Level playing field. He is like the number one example of that, because that's something that we were specifically held out of, and nobody ever imagined that we would get there, but he just kind of snuck up on it one day and he was there and he was great. But it goes beyond that. Obviously, the fact that we had President Barack Obama, I know how fashionable it has become to talk about what he didn't do and what he wasn't and all of this, but the fact that he was there, he got there, and whatever crazy view of Black identity that you may take, he is a Black man and he became president of the United States. There are people in this country walking around right now, living, breathing, moving, and grooving, who never imagined that would be possible. And I am one of them. I was in my early 30s when he got elected, and I was telling people, oh, it's nothing against the brother, he's fine. But this country ain't never going to elect a Black man president. And I've never been happier to be wrong in my life than I was when he got elected once, and elated that he got reelected. The point is, you can tell how well you're doing by the way that those who are identified as your enemies or adversaries are responding. They're going crazy because they can see what we can do. And now the pie is getting a little smaller because of technological advances and the hyper concentration of wealth. All of these things are making the greatest opportunities more and more scarce to access. So it's just become, more necessary than ever to just cut us out of the game. Us in particular. They like to cut everybody out who is not a, straight from the cast of Mad Men, straight down the middle, white guy. But we are the ones that really have to go, because they have seen what happens when we get in there. They've seen that. Set aside, some of the foolishness and the really disturbing visuals of these Black men who are running behind that movement for reasons. We'll get into that another time. It's not worth spending a whole lot of time on that, when the point is to keep us from losing our fucking minds and recognize the fact that we must be doing something right for those that stand against us to be so stressed out and frustrated. They won the election, they're doing all these things, but they're still upset because we're still here. They can't get away from us. They can't get rid of us because we're here. And we compete, we kick their ass. Okay. Matter of fact, even to the point where those of us who are just average, it's still impressive because you know that our lift was heavier to get there just because of the fact that we are black folks. I know that people don't like to acknowledge that anymore. And there's different schools of thought. I'm not going to just dump on anybody who sees that differently. But the reality is that race matters in America. It always has and it always will. It is in the genetics of this country. And you can no more separate that out from the American identity than you can separate us from this land that we were native to. And by we, I mean black descendants of the enslaved are truly native to this land. This is our homeland. This is our homeland. That tracks. Okay. All respect to our fatherland, Africa. And but the motherland for us is actually here. And with that, we'll shut this one off and we'll be back together here soon. Peace.